12 years ago in Kiev, Ukraine, MI6 Spec Ops agent Martin Baxter is on a mission to intercept files that are to be passed from FSB agent Red Star to reporter Igor Stepanenko. Igor arrives, but also in the car is undercover MI6 agent Olga, Martin's wife. Just as Martin calls this in, Igor is killed and Red Star shot and killed by assassins. Martin opens fire on the shooters, but the package is grabbed. Martin rushes to Olga, who is shocked to see him there, warning her to stay put. He goes hunting for the shooters and the package and comes under gunfire, but manages to evade the shooter. He climbs on top of a bus to get a better vantage point. The shooter spots him, but Martin manages to kill the man and recover the files. He goes back for Olga, only to see a Russian agent holding her at gunpoint and demanding the bag. Martin demands that he hand her over first, but the agent shoots Olga in the side. Martin relents, drops the bag, and fires. Present-day London, he jumps awake from this nightmare with his brilliant daughter Lisa. Martin is now a club bouncer but makes money on the side kickboxing, with Lisa being his unofficial coach and mentor. She cautions him on his latest opponent's range, advising him to use his jab and create space for himself. But Martin thinks he's got this and will do what he always does, walk him down and smash the man. Lisa isn't convinced about his plan and takes the cash to make the bet, but when she gets to the organizer Maxim, Lisa bets on Martin's opponent. Martin's match soon gets underway, and his opponent is just as dangerous as Lisa warned. She tries to give him ringside advice, but Martin continues to trade blows with the man until he gets a deadly knee to the face, with even Lisa yelling for him to call it quits. This blow throws off Martin's entire game, and an uppercut puts him on the canvas. After the fight, Maxim pays Lisa her winnings, which pisses Martin off as he cannot believe she would bet against him. But Lisa knew things wouldn't have gone according to his plan as he has not been focused lately. That night while Lisa is downstairs, Martin gets himself some cheeks. Everything is going well until the cheeks flicks on the lights to see what she is getting, and Martin sees a vision of Olga staring at him, throwing off his entire vibe. So he sends the girl away out of guilt. The next day, Martin brings Lisa to a building for target practice when Lisa explains that she wants to settle down and get an education as she is worried about her future. Martin isn't concerned, thinking he is teaching her everything she needs to know to survive, but Lisa is adamant on starting school. Later, Martin is getting ready for work when he sees news reports of the attempted murder of a Russian opposition activist Skuratov and his wife using a nerve agent. At work, he tries breaking up a fight, but ends up beating up the patron and gets a scolding from his supervisor. Later, he encounters a young woman who calls him by name. So Martin swipes her ID and sees that her last name is Stepanenko. He tracks her down inside the club and returns her ID, wanting to know who she is. Her name is Sacha, and Igor was her father who told her that Martin was a reporter. To prove her claim, she even shows a photo of Martin with Olga and Igor, but Martin wants to know what she wants. She explains that she is continuing her father's work and she needs Martin's help to retrieve the files. Suddenly, men with guns open fire on Martin and Sacha, sending the club into chaos. The two barely escape the gunfire, and Martin ambushes two of the shooters and takes them out in the kitchen. He sees no sign of Sacha, so Martin rushes back home only to see his doors already open. He cautiously enters with a bat and sees Lisa sleeping and unharmed. He continues on where he encounters CIA agent Trevor and MI6 agent John Edwards. They are here because of his meeting with Sacha and want to know what they spoke about, but Martin plays it off as nothing. Trevor reminds him of their agreement to stay out of each other's business and the consequences if he broke it. Trevor asks him about the files, but Martin recalls that the Russians got the files after the mission 12 years ago, and everything was done and over with. The agents don't believe him, and Edwards shows him a photo of one of their dead agents who was previously working with Sacha to look for the files, warning him that the Russians will come looking for him as well. Lisa wakes, and Trevor tells her he has known her since she was a baby. He continues telling Martin that they want him to help them recover the files, as it could reveal the traitor who killed Olga. Lisa insists that her mother died in an accident, but Martin stops the agents from revealing any more and demands they leave. He tries to explain to Lisa that he was trying to protect her, but Lisa is upset that he lied to her and wants him to leave her alone. Now, with the truth in the open and feelings of Olga resurfacing, Martin sits alone brooding in his room, the urge for answers growing stronger. The next morning, Martin tells Lisa to pack her stuff as they have to move. She tries to argue, but Martin does not have time to explain and demands she do as he says. He goes to put their luggage in the car when a man knocks him unconscious. Martin is bound on a chair before Russian intelligence agent Tatiana, who demands the files, smashing Martin's finger with a hammer when he denies knowing anything. She wants to know where Sacha is hiding the files, but Martin insists that he saw a Russian agent take the files with his own eyes, but she does not believe him. Tatiana then shows him a live video of Lisa, revealing they have kidnapped her. So Martin confesses that Sacha knows the location of the files and he can get them for her. Tatiana reports to her superior, who demands Sacha also be handed over to them, dead or alive, and gives Martin 24 hours to complete his task. He is then tossed out on the side of the road, and MI6 Edwards is already tracking him. Martin gets in his car when another vision of Olga appears, telling him to bring Lisa home. Tatiana tells Lisa that Martin is just picking up a package for them and offers to get her anything, so Lisa orders a smoothie. Tatiana then puts on some cartoons for her to watch. Edwards follows Martin to Maxim's club and calls it in to Trevor, who wants him to go in and check it out, but Martin suddenly holds Edwards at gunpoint, telling him to stop following. Martin heads inside to speak with Maxim, asking him about Sacha and describing her, but Maxim denies knowing the woman. Martin shows him one of his cards he found in Sacha's wallet and pulls a gun to show he means business. He suspects that Sacha tracked him down through Maxim and demands he take out his cell phone. Maxim hands over the cell phone but hits a panic button. A guard enters, and Martin ends up shooting Maxim before taking out Maxim's guards. Martin fights and shoots his way out of the club before escaping back to his car. There he scans Maxim's cell phone and gets Sacha's location. Meanwhile, Lisa has gotten quite comfortable with Tatiana, watching a boxing match and chatting away about betting odds. Martin breaks into Sacha's apartment, gun drawn. He initially sees no sign of her until she appears behind him. He tells her he is here to help, smashes her cell phone, and gives her a burner. She is not scared of what they're up against and is determined to publish the files to avenge her father's death. She found his logbook and found out his last meeting was with a woman called Red Star, who had collected evidence of a chemical weapons program and even had samples of the nerve agent Novichok. Turns out Red Star did not bring the files to the meeting in Kiev, but had actually secured them in a bank's safety deposit box that only she knows. Martin, however, recalls Red Star handing the address and the code to the safety deposit box on a note to Olga that day. Meanwhile, Edwards is found bound and gagged in his car. Martin breaks into Trevor's safe house and holds an analyst at gunpoint, demanding he log into the CIA system. They go through the photos on Operation Red Star, where they see Red Star holding the note. Just then, Martin is alerted that a hit team is on their way up, so he hurriedly prints everything on the operation. As the hit team pulls closer to the room, Martin forces the analyst to reveal the escape route. Trevor and the hit team get to the room, and he calls out to Martin, who reveals that he has a hostage. Trevor wants him to surrender so they can talk, but as he pulls closer, he realizes Martin has escaped through the secret exit. The hit team tries to cut him off on the floor below, but sees no sign of him. Martin had not left the room, and he takes out an agent trying to arrest him. He battles another who manages to throw him and hit him with some heavy shots, but Martin stands his ground and returns fire. As the fight continues, Trevor and the team try to ambush him, but Martin pushes himself and the agent through a window. He recovers and leaves the scene with Sacha. After 10 hours, Tatiana's boss is not pleased and orders her to turn up the pressure. Martin and Sacha stop in an abandoned building where she notes he is unlike any reporter she has met, but Martin tells her he's just good at his job. He then gets a photo of Lisa, reminding him that time is against him. He is unable to decipher what he got from the CIA system when Trevor and the hit team again turn up, ordering he surrender as he is surrounded. Martin reveals himself, but Sacha is holding him at gunpoint. She tells Trevor about the bank, but lies that Martin has the code in his head, demanding the agents drop their guns or she will kill him. When that doesn't work, Sacha turns the gun on herself, as only she knows where the bank is located. Trevor is taking no chances and lowers his weapon, allowing them to leave. As they leave, Sacha notes that Martin and Trevor seem very acquainted and demands answers, but Martin just wants her to trust him. Trevor gets back to his office and learns what Martin was investigating and sees the note with the number the agency always thought was a phone number, now realizing it's the code to the vault. Martin and Sacha ditch their car. He asks for her credit card as he knows Trevor has the code and plans to set a trap. We then see Martin steal the passport of a woman who looks like Sacha. Trevor soon gets intel that they have booked a flight to Moscow, but he knows this is a diversion and asks the analyst to pull up camera footage from every airport in London. We see Lisa and Tatiana even going to the spa together. Lisa sees her bracelet and asks about it, but Tatiana does not respond. At the airport, Sacha is hiding her tattoos. Martin calls Tatiana asking for more time to bring her the files, so she warns not to play her. She allows Lisa to talk to Martin for a short while before snatching back the phone, and an angry Lisa tells her only a childless woman would do this. Tatiana then reveals to Lisa that Martin was really a spy who lied to Olga and pretended to love her and calls Lisa an accident. This brings Lisa to tears. Trevor gets footage of Martin and Sacha taking a flight to Kiev, so he plans to reach out to a Colonel Zelenko to have eyes on the two. Martin and Sacha land in Kiev where they are already being monitored and followed. They arrive at Sacha's old home, and Martin is aware they're being followed. Sacha notes that Martin reminds her of her father, and Martin tells her he was a good man. She wonders why he left Kiev 12 years ago, and Martin reveals he lost someone too. She tries to comfort him, but Martin hears Olga reminding him never to get personal while on a mission. Lisa wants Tatiana to tell her about her mother, and though Tatiana initially disagrees, she reveals that Martin tried to save her mother, but Olga was accidentally hit, implying that Martin was the one who killed Olga. A few hours later, Tatiana arrives in Kiev. She tries calling Martin, who sees the call, but allows it to go to voicemail. Martin and Sacha arrive at the bank, still aware they're being followed, but she is prepared to follow through with the plan. They head inside, and while Martin sits in the lobby, Sacha is led to the vault. She then calls Martin to give him the directions to the vault when Trevor, Colonel Zelenko, and his agents enter demanding to be led to the vault. Martin slips away and takes out a lone security guard before setting off the alarms, but Trevor still insists on heading to the vault. Trevor enters with the clerk, but Martin holds him at gunpoint as this was his plan, and he orders Trevor to enter the vault code. They get access to the deposit box where there are samples of Novichok inside. Martin then uses Trevor as a shield to pass the agents outside. Trevor hints to Sacha that Martin played a part in her father's death, but Martin knocks him out before the two escape to the roof of the building with the agents in pursuit. The two barely make it to the street when the agents open fire, one of the bullets hitting Martin, but they make it back to the car. Cops chase after them, but Martin manages to evade them and escape. They take refuge under a bridge, and Sacha pretends to help Martin with his wound, but pulls his gun, insistent that he is one of the bad guys. He confesses that the Russians have his daughter, and he needs the files to save her life, but Sacha doesn't believe him. He tries to disarm her, but she shoots him in the arm and drives away. He passes out and has another vision of Olga, still reminding him to save their daughter. Martin wakes and gets a phone call from Tatiana, telling her he has both the files and Sacha. He speaks with Lisa, who wonders when he is coming to get her, but Martin can only tell her he loves her. Lisa is worried hearing this, but Tatiana takes the phone, telling him to meet her at 10 p.m. for the exchange. He sits for a while to gather his thoughts before reaching out to Trevor, asking for help, explaining that the Russians are going to kill Lisa if they don't get the case. Trevor figures out that Sacha double-crossed him and revels in the idea of Martin asking him for help. Martin then recalls that Sacha is driving a rental vehicle, which probably has a tracking device, so he leaves Trevor on the line and heads over to the car rental office where he learns it is parked at a train station. Martin rushes over to the train station where he catches sight of Sacha. She tries to run away from him, but she eventually falls, allowing Martin to catch up with her and render her unconscious. He then steals a car and brings Sacha back to his place. That night, he goes to meet Tatiana and sends her a link to a live stream of a bound Sacha along with the case, and he will send the address once he knows Lisa is safe. Tatiana accepts, but before she releases Lisa, she gives her the bracelet once belonging to her daughter. Lisa goes to Martin, so he gives up Sacha's address, and Tatiana sends her men to grab her, leaving two agents with her. As they wait for her men to arrive at the address, Martin gives a signal, and suddenly Sacha opens fire, hitting one of the men. Martin rushes with Lisa to safety before opening fire on Tatiana and her agent. During the gunfight, Sacha runs out of bullets. Martin engages Tatiana's agent, and eventually manages to kill the man. But then Tatiana steps out holding Sacha at gunpoint. Sacha yells at him to forget her and publish the files, but Martin cannot bring himself to do this. He then tells Lisa that no matter what happens, she should stay put before stepping forward with the case. He tosses it and pulls his gun, but has a flashback of 12 years ago and freezes, and ends up getting shot by Tatiana. Lisa rushes to him crying. Tatiana then forces Sacha to kneel and is about to kill her, but a gunshot rings out and Tatiana falls, and it is Lisa who has killed her. Suddenly, Trevor and MI6 agents surround Sacha, demanding she surrender, but Sacha jumps over the bridge under gunfire and disappears. A few days later, Lisa arrives by bus to a Ukrainian prison where Martin has survived and is recovering. He asks about her foster family and learns they are treating her well. She was even able to buy a laptop and TV for the family as she had earned money helping Tatiana place bets. He is proud of her and the two embrace. She has also learned the truth about her mother's death and Martin apologizes as he did not want her to hate him. Trevor is leaving his hotel when he runs into Lisa, who hands over a copy of the files, telling him if anything happens to her or Martin, the originals will be published. She also tells him to find a way to get Martin released before leaving. She then receives a letter from Sacha, revealing the name of the double agent that got her mother killed and reminding her that to live in a world of wolves, you need to be one yourself.